Welcome, benvenido, Hunying, benvenuto. The world is getting ready to be set on fire with the new podcast, Souls of Solidarity, coming to the Mystic 7 Record and Film YouTube channel August 22nd, 2020 at 8 p.m. We're a show where you, as an independent artist, musician, writer, filmmaker, or producer, can have a voice. Whether it be a book, new music, a film, or script you've written, we're there for you. We will cover major social issues, people in business with heartwarming stories. So join us, grab a drink, a joint, or whatever your fancy, and buckle up for the roller coaster ride of the century. Join us to the journey of the center of entertainment. New independent artists, upcoming filmmakers, new and exciting authors share their voices. Again, join us every Saturday after 8 p.m. for Souls of Solidarity.
Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Souls of Solidarity. Again, we're going to have another interesting show to provide for you. This show, we're going to talk about another 5 movies that are out and have a good storyline to them, and we wanted to share them with you. So get ready, sit back for the next 30 minutes or so, grab your favorite libations, a joint or whatever your fancy, come along for the ride to join us on our journey to the center of entertainment. So today, let's start with a little bit about the movie industry and what we're going through and how we're seeing some of the things this year. Needless to say, a lot of the movies that are being anticipated this year were supposed to come out in 2020. But as it had already been deduced, a lot of them didn't because the studies didn't want to resort to streaming for their own reasons. Now, one of those reasons was that they didn't want to risk the theaters opening and missing out on that box office money that's usually unimportant. But even with seeing how foolish that was, the studios are still holding out hope that the theaters might open. But some are starting to realize that simply giving the content to the people via streaming might be a good idea, since even if theaters do open, they're still losing a lot of money by holding on to the properties while people are clamoring for the movies that they've been waiting to see for so long. Now, there are some truly blockbuster titles that people are ready to see, and at least a few people have made it clear that they're at least willing to continue streaming, since there might be money there, especially since social distancing is keeping the number of people that can attend a movie in the theater to a bare minimum. Now, before I go on any further, I want to give some birthday shout outs to a couple people that are close to me. One is my brother. It's his birthday. He's passed, but I still remember him each and every birthday that comes up in March. And then another shout out to my sister-in-law, Bo, Benita Money, on her birthday. And, I wish you all well. And I know, Bo, you'll be having a good birthday somewhere. Anyway, let's move on. At the beginning of last year, it was impossible to predict just how much the movie-going experience, would change over the following months as theaters across the globe closed. So many films shifted to the streaming, like we had talked about, the streaming only release strategy. And that was to get people to watch movies, without the theater being involved. So, blockbusters got punted into a year or two later in the wake of the pandemic. So this year will be different in at least one significant way. We already know that it'll be strange because movie going is beginning to change our course and what we're used to. So with movies getting hybrid releases and major studios attempting to make a return to the normal, it's hard to predict exactly what will come out and when. Now, hopefully that makes a list like this more useful than ever. The goal is simply to keep track of the best new movie releases in 2021. And that's what we're trying to do at Souls of Solidarity, is keep you updated on all these different movies that are coming out. And so that you guys have a choice and understand what you're looking at, so you don't have to go searching all over the place to know. You can come to our channel and get an idea, because we will talk a little bit about them. So like in years past, we'll update the list throughout the year as more new releases arrive in theaters or drop on the streaming services. So these are the movies that we decided that we were going to talk about this week, that you could go get a chance to see if you haven't seen them yet. All right, we'll start from 5, our 5th most voted, up to number 1. So let's start with our 5th best. Our first movie we're going to talk about, like I said, was number 5, was the French Exit. And that stars one of our old reliable Michelle Pfeiffer. Now, this is Patrick DeWitt's witty, insightful novel about a New York socialite who flees to Paris amidst her impending financial ruin. She gets the big screen treatment courtesy of director Azazul Jacobs and a cast including TNC cover star Michelle Pfeiffer, as we said, and Lucas Hedges. It's a charming dark comedy that makes excellent use of its brilliant cast and captures a world of 1% wealth with nuance and a deliciously arched eyebrow. It tells the sort of Manhattan heiress, Michelle Pfeiffer, who moves to Paris with her son, who was played by Lucas Hedges, with the little money they have left. Now, the film had a world premiere at the New York Film Festival on October 10th, 2020, but it was theatrically released in the United States and Canada February 12th, 2021. It received mixed reviews from critics, although Pfeiffer's performance was praised for her role as she was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for the Best Actress. Michelle Pfeiffer's one of our, we remember her as far back as Scarface, where she came on the scene, and she still looks good for a woman in her 60s. And she's still bringing the heat in terms of her performances. So if you get a chance, check the movie out, French Exit. And then we'll move on to discuss our next movie. At number 4 is a movie called Supernova. Now, it's another one of those friendship movies that are one of those tear jerkers that happens along the way. It's director Harry McQueen's gutting drama. It stars Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci. They're a couple who are on a road trip across England. A seemingly carefree venture that is given a darker dimension when it's revealed that Tucci's tusker is suffering from dementia. And on a kind of farewell tour to see the people and places that he loves, before he forgets them completely. Now, Sam and Tusker, partners for 20 years, they're going to travel across England to the Lake District, reuniting with friends and family and people that they know. And then as Tusker is diagnosed with an early onset of dementia, the pair spend as much time together as they can before Tusker dies. And I know, those of you who have family members who have experienced dementia can understand what that disease is. And it leads into, what's the other one I'm thinking of? That you get when you're older. Man, my brain is like going dead on me right now. I'll think of it. But anyway, Supernova had its world premiere at the San Sebastian International Film Festival on September 22nd, 2020. And it's scheduled to be released in the United Kingdom, as of March 5th. So by Studio Canal in the United States in January, it was released by Bleecker Street. So if you get a chance to see that, and if you're, any family member you have who has had or experienced some dementia with, you would know a little bit about that. Anyway, that's a brief picture behind me of Supernova that you can see. And the word I was trying to think of was Alzheimer's. Dementia is kind of another form of an Alzheimer. I think Alzheimer gets progressively worse when you just totally lose where you're at, where you've been, you lose your past and things like that. But both of them are debilitating diseases. And, we hope we never get that, but we can't stop Father Times. So now let's move on to our next movie, which kind of got to me a little bit, and that's our number 3. Okay, our next movie is Manera, and like I said, that came in at number 3. It's Lee Isaac Chung's movie. It stars, I don't know if you ever watched Walking Dead, Steve Yeun. It's a Korean name. And that, and then the veteran Korean actress, Yoon Ya-jung. It's been generating major buzz since it premiered at Sundance in 2020. It's based on Chung's own childhood. Manera is a quintessentially American tale, it's about a Korean family. They moved to rural Arkansas, and they start a farm, and they chase the American dream like most immigrants who have come over here from other countries. And, they're looking to chase the American dream, as we all are. Now it goes back in the era of 1983. Korean immigrant Yi, his family, they moved from California to their new plot of land in rural Arkansas, where his father Jacob hopes to grow Korean produce to sell to the vendors in Dallas. Now, one of his first decisions is to decline the services of a water diviner. So he digs a well in a spot he finds on his own. He enlists the help of Paul, his eccentric local man and a Korean War veteran. They embark. Jacob's optimistic about the life ahead. His wife, Monica, she's disappointed and worries about their son's David's heart condition. So due to this, he's frequently told not to run. Jacob and Monica, they work, where they call them sexting chicks at the nearby hatchery. And then they argue consistently while David and his sister, Anne, they eavesdrop like kids do. But the movie is pretty good. I mean, they end up bringing over their to watch the kids. They arrange for Monica's mother, who is Sun Ja, to travel from South Korea. Now David's forced to share his room with her, which he is opposed to, and he avoids her because she does not conform to his ideas of how a grandmother should be. Still, Sun Ja attempts to adjust to the life in the United States and bond with the children. Along the way, and with the arrival of the grandmother from Korea, the film becomes a powerful lesson on resilience and family and what it means to belong. And a lot of people can relate to this movie. This movie even got me a little emotional on the trailer. Watching the trailer, I saw the movie. It's very a good movie. If you get a chance, take a look at it, because if family value and family unity means anything to you, then this is a movie you should see. So we rated it number 3 on our list, and I actually would have rated it a little higher, but then that's me, because family means everything to me. So take a look at it when you can, and check it out. Now let's go to our next movie, which is number 2. Yeah, our number 2 movie is The Dig. Now, if you like British movies, you'll be able to get next to this. It came out. It's a 2021, British drama directed by Simon Stone, and it's based on the 2007 novel of the same name by John Preston, which reimagines the events of the 1939 excavation of Sutton Hoo. It stars Casey Mulligan, Ralph Fiennes, Lily James, Johnny Flynn, Ben Chaplin, Ken Stott, Archie Barnes, and Monica Dolan. It had a limited release in January 15th, followed by streaming on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you can still get this movie that came out. The film received positive reviews from critics and has received 5 nominations for the British Academy Film Awards, including Outstanding British Film. So now let me give you a little bit of what the plot is on this. It's kind of interesting, the plot. Okay, in 1939, the Suffolk landowner Edith Purdy, she hires a local self-taught archaeologist, excavator named Basil Brown, to tackle the large burial mounds at her rural estate in the Sutton Hoo near Woodbridge. At first, she offers the same money he received from the Ipswich Museum, the agricultural wage, but he says it is inadequate. So she ups her offer by 12% to it's like a extra 2 pounds a week, approximately 120 pounds, which in 2020 it would be worth 120 pounds. And what he accepts. Okay, so working with his assistants from Purdy's estate, Brown slowly escalate. What do you call it? When he digs, he evacuates the more promising of the mounds. Then one day, the trench collapses on them, but they dig them out in time. So meanwhile, he spends more time with Edith, a widow, and her young son, Robert, and ignores daily letters from his wife, who he's married. Edith struggles with her health and warned by her doctor to avoid stress. So it becomes like they find a discovery and stuff, and then there's a little love story, little love triangle involved and stuff. So if you like those British style movies, this is a good movie to see, to dig, and you can go check it out. It's it's interesting, but of course, it has the English accent, so you're gonna have to really listen hard or use your subtitles. But anyway, we voted it in at number 2. So anyway, let's move on to our next one. Yeah, our next number 1 movie that we talk about, and this movie had a little personal touch for me, because in my book, Brookside Bombers, that I wrote, I talk about how the FBI had planted informants into the Black Panther Party, and had them give information to the FBI, and had certain members killed and assassinated. There was plot, and this movie had a lot to do with it. It's called Judah and the Messiah, and it's more about the story of Fred Hampton. Now it stars Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, Dominique Fishback, and Jesse Plemons. They star in this powerful and brilliant drama, like I said, about the late Fred Hampton. He was the chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, who, they were double-crossed by an FBI informant. Now, it's a riveting purity piece that couldn't be timelier. The American biographical drama film about the betrayal of Fred Hampton, chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther, around the late 1960s in Chicago. And he came down at the hands of William O'Neill, who was an FBI informant. Now, the film is directed and produced by Shaka King, who wrote the screenplay with Will Burson, and is based on the story by the pair and Kenny and Keith Lucas. So, the way the story unfolds is in the late 1960s, the 17-year-old petty criminal William Bill O'Neill is arrested in Chicago after attempting to hijack a car while posing as a federal officer. He's approached by FBI Special Agent Roy Mitchell, who offers to have O'Neill's charges dropped if he works undercover for the Bureau. And a lot of this went on in the 60s. It's gone on even as far back as the military in the turn of the century. They've always gotten, when people want to infiltrate a organization, they'll find an informant, offer him a deal, he accepts the deal, and then he starts ratting out all the friends and all the people in the organization. Now, Hoover was notorious for this. He did it with the Black Panther Party. He did it with Martin Luther King. He did it with all the black organizations that were thriving. He would send informants in to get information, and then they would report back, and then they would set people up and have them killed and assassinated. And it was called a legal killing back then. The FBI was never punished for it, but they were responsible for it, even though they'll tell you they'll deny it. But I did some research into it and saw some records of some things that they did, and I wrote about some of them, and like I said in my book, Brookside Bombers. So anyway, O'Neill, he was assigned to infiltrate the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party and its leader, Fred Hampton. So once again, I'll leave you. You know how to get in touch with us. So anything you have dealing with music, film, literature, and social issues, get hold of us. Um, like I said, we're going to be reviewing more movies each month, and also we'll be bringing you our top 5 music again. So, hit us up. If you have a new book you want to introduce and talk about, come on to our show. Feel free to do that. We love hearing new artists, new writers, and producers. We want to hear your story. So anyway, I'll leave you with my 3 words as I do every week. I have love, prosperity, and solidarity. And I'm out. Love you. She the finest thing on the party scene. She break your bank like the mean machine. She the real deal like the Holyfield. Ain't nothing yet, but she's out for a kill.